Welcome to Building More Resilient Businesses, a virtual workshop presented as part of the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission's support to regional businesses with technical assistance and training programs. I'm Christy Morton, Vice President of External Affairs with the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, and I'll be your host today. I think we can all agree, having gone through the COVID-19 pandemic together, there is nothing more important than being prepared to weather a crisis. In rural coastal Virginia, weathering a crisis can mean actual weather, hello hurricanes, but it can also mean getting through a business crisis, like a cybersecurity breach. About 99% of all businesses in every U.S. community are small, and they employ over 50% of the private sector workforce. Protecting businesses is protecting people. This training we're going to highlight today is based on the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Resilience in a Box program. It's a collection of tips, best practices, and checklists that businesses can take to be proactive now, before a disaster strikes. We won't dig into every little detail of this training. Rather, we will be giving the overview highlights and then directing you to the Chamber's Business Resilience 101 workbook that you can download for free on your own time and work through page by page. With Resilience in a Box, you will get the tools you need to put the training you receive to work and the resources to reach out for support. But more importantly, you're going to learn how to protect the 6 most important things to your business before a disaster strikes. What are those 6 things, you may ask? Your people. That's the relationships you have, your brand, and the communications you must do in an emergency situation. Your data. Think about all the things you have stored online or digitally. And think about if it all went away or you couldn't access it. Your operations. What if you lost power for an extended period of time? What would you do? Your inventory, your equipment, and your buildings. We all know in rural coastal Virginia what a strong hurricane can do to physical assets like buildings, equipment, and inventory. First, you need to assess your risks. I'll repeat that the Resilience in a Box materials will walk you through this in detail and even provide workbook materials and tables for you to play this out. Do you know what types of disasters you could be at risk of experiencing? Natural, including fire, earthquake, tornado, flood, storm, hurricane, and man-made disasters like data entry error, cyber attack, terrorism, vandalism, theft, security breach, power outage, epidemic, accident, civil disorder, hazmat, or an active shooter situation. Based on those disasters, do you know what your internal and external hazards are for your business? For example, do you back up your computer data? Do you change your passwords? Are your utilities located on the first floor of your building, which happens to be in a flood zone in a hurricane area? One of the most valuable assets of any company is its people. How can you protect them during a disaster? By being prepared with the following. Identify your people. They're your employees, vendors, suppliers, any person required to keep your business operational. Create emergency contact lists. Do you have a single contact list of all those people? In a disaster, you may need all of them should one or more be unavailable. Create customer contact lists. It costs 5 times as much to attract a new customer than to keep an existing one. Can you reach them easily in the event of a disaster? Create an emergency action plan that includes your preferred method for reporting emergencies, evacuation policies and procedures, duties and responsibilities under the emergency plan, rescue and medical duties, and communications plan. Create a communication strategy. Designate and train a reliable spokesperson and a backup who are the only approved voices for your company in the event of an emergency. Make them accessible to the media 24/7 and keep everyone updated, even if that means having to say, "We don't have an update." This applies to both internal and external audiences. Communication in a disaster is a key way to protect your brand. Data. No matter where your data lives, in the cloud, on a server, a hard copy, you need to protect it. How to protect your data? Step 1, back up your data. Tape backup, external USB disk or hard drive. Cloud storage. Step 2, plan how to recover your data if you lose it. Step 3, test your backups. Make sure they work. Step 4, create a grab-and-go case. This is a physical case, folder, box, or briefcase, ideally water and fireproof, that has items in it and potentially includes a USB flash drive or printed copies of your disaster plans. Some additional steps. Store backups of vital records off-site. Secure remote access to records. And practice cybersecurity. Operations. Your operations are what your business does, its core functions. What do you need to protect to make sure you can still operate in the event of a crisis? Consider what would happen if you lost your building. How would you run your business or serve your customers? Construct a financial strategy or plan to cover continuing payroll expenses and debt obligations. Inventory and equipment. Maintain a thorough, updated inventory of items and equipment used in your company. Video these assets and store both the inventory and the video in a safe place. Prioritize your most important equipment from the list above that is required to keep you open in the event of an emergency. This is not just about tracking your equipment, it's about prioritizing what you need to be resilient. Buildings. Do you own or lease? Can you relocate if needed? Do you have alternative spaces? Are elements of the structure at risk? Could you access the building in the event of a disaster? Document, document, document. As you can see through these high-level preparedness tips, the Resilience in a Box program guides you to document, document, document. The workbook you can download online to detail all of this for your company has worksheets and tables and more to walk you through every step of the way. Once you document, you can move toward developing your business continuity plan. All of that work together really builds a stronger company, a stronger organization that is more prepared to face a disaster. Ready to start the detailed work needed? Visit resilienceinabox.com. Thank you all for joining us today. Good luck to each of you as you work to build a more resilient business in the Commonwealth.